1 billion Tether tokens printed in a week. The auditor dissolves its relationship with Bitfinex. A subpoena from the CFTC. Is it a Ponzi scheme? The Bitcoin's been inflated by Tether. Do we run for the hills? No. Looks fine. Bunch of smoke. I don't think there's any fire. Let me tell you what's going on here. So, my guess. Let me go through how I got to my conclusion. So first of all, if you look on the YouTube and the web, a lot of people worried that the Bitfinex and Tether, it's a Ponzi, it's all kinds of crazy things. A lot of people surmising this. And I was concerned. I even made a video a while back. I ended up unlisting it because I changed my mind, but I was like, oh, it looks like a scam. But, so I talked to a couple people. So first of all, I'm actually friends with this guy, Reese Collins. You can look him up. You know, he was one of the people who created Tether. He used to come to my parties when I threw parties in Hollywood. I bumped into him, and I saw that he was Tether. So I asked him some questions. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, listen, Bitfinex, they have a great business. Why would they risk it on Tether? You know, Tether's just a useful, kind of boring product. Why would they risk their business? I said, you know what, that's a good point. And that's from a source of somebody, like he sold it to them. He doesn't own it. He doesn't have any, and I'm talking to him privately. He has no reason to bullshit me. So, okay, that's interesting. But still, maybe he's, I don't know. And then, after I made my video saying I think it's a scam, which was before I had actually talked to Reese, but anyways, I actually got an email from Phil Potter of Bitfinex. He's one of the executives there. He's like, wants to talk to me. I was all excited. Talked to him for a while. And, there were a lot of things from the conversation. But one of the things that sticks with me is here's a guy living in New York City who picks up the phone. And, again, why would he risk? I do believe the idea that Bitfinex is a profitable business, right? I'm sorry, they're one of the biggest exchanges selling crypto, trading cryptocurrency. These days you'd have to be an idiot not to make money, and I don't think these guys are idiots. So here's a guy with a good business. Why would he risk it on this Tether thing, right? And there were other things in the conversation, but there was that. Now, so. And one other thing I want to just mention, people, first I said, when I said Bitfinex is a scam, boy, did I get a lot of views. I don't usually get that many thumbs up. Although lately, I got to say, people seem to like me. At the beginning, everybody hated me a lot. But still, said Bitfinex is a scam. Everybody loved that super popular video. When I said, you know what, it looks like it's fine. Nobody wanted to hear that. And I'm being manipulated. Oh, how much is Bitfinex paying me? Okay, first of all, you'd have to pay me a lot of money to compromise my integrity. And not just because I care about my integrity, which I do, but I also have enough money that I don't need to be bought, right? And as much as you who watch my channel think that this is the greatest channel in the world, I mean, it's not ABC. Like, maybe Bitfinex would pay $1 million to get a good piece on ABC. I don't think they're going to pay me a ton of money to make a good video, okay? I'm not being manipulated. And could I be wrong? Could he be sweet-talking me and convincing me? Maybe. I'm not a dummy. Believe me, I've seen it all. Like I said, I was throwing parties in Hollywood. I've seen bullshitters, okay? I'm a decent judge of character. But listen, it's on the phone. I could be wrong. Again, I'm just telling you my opinion. I'm not being manipulated. If you think I'm an idiot, that's another story, okay? And I don't have some agenda here. I'm just sharing with you. And believe it, and my only agenda is that, honestly, this process of me thinking, what is my opinion, writing it out, calling Phil Potter a couple times to get answers because I'm making a video, like, it drives me to be smarter, this whole video process. That's my agenda, to be smart, to be right, and occasionally to get thumbs up on my videos, or enough subscribers so I can go to the YouTube studio. Okay, anyways. So, what happened is, a couple things. So the CFTC subpoena. There was an article, it was leaked recently, that there was a subpoena from the CFTC. At first, when I read it, I'm like, what the hell? So I think I figured out what's going on here. So the CFTC, the Chicago futures trading, they came out, there's now futures trading on Bitcoin. They have to make sure the price of Bitcoin is not being manipulated. And there is a lot of commotion out in the on YouTube and such that Tether is being just printed out of thin air in order to manipulate Bitcoin. They have to investigate that, especially when everybody's yelling at it about it. That is, I believe, why they issued the subpoena. They want to show me the $2 billion in US dollars that you have. And, so do they have $2 billion? Listen, it's a huge, one of the biggest exchanges in the world. A lot of customers, so they have a lot of people who want to buy Bitcoin, who go through banks and go to Bitfinex. I believe they have two. In fact, I don't want to quote Phil Potter or have the responsibility of remembering everything he said to me or saying something. I'm just going to say, I believe they have more than $2 billion in US dollars. Okay? So you get the $2 billion for Tether, plus they have more dollars. That's what I think. And of all the things to believe, like the fact that they have a lot of money, well, look at this rally. Listen, most of you watching this channel, we're not geniuses, and we all suddenly have a lot of money. Trust me, this smart guy in New York City, does he have a lot of money? Maybe. Okay, to me, that's not a stretch. So the thing about subpoenas, keep in mind, is they're meant to be kept secret. Why are they kept secret? Because it's not an indictment. It's just we need information. We need to check. We need to cover our ass, whatever it is. They want to see the money, show me the money. So they issue a subpoena. That was in December 6th. Since then, Phil Potter, living in Manhattan, gets a subpoena from the CFTC showing all the information. If he's running a scam, now he's walking around Manhattan, and since the subpoena, brazenly printed another, who knows, like $1 billion worth of Tether. He's doing this while the government is looking into it? I don't think so. Or is it possible that in December, when everyone was going crazy about crypto and all of my friends were calling me, how do I buy, that a lot of people sent dollars to Bitfinex? Is that possible? Maybe. Right? Sorry. And the other thing is, this is not, like with BitConnect from the beginning, the founder is in hiding, who is it, all this sneaky stuff. There's several U.S. exchanges using Tether. This is all out in the open. If there was a problem, and now it's a month and a half ago, and this is not a super complex thing to figure out either. Either they got enough dollars or they don't, or if there's manipulation, can they, hey, I guess you could say, well, the CFTC hasn't made a decision yet, maybe. But it's been 6 weeks and everything's going as normal and more tethers are being created. Looks okay to me. Now, the other thing with the subpoena, it's kept secret, and as a result, it's kept secret. They don't have a process where they say, all clear, we looked in and it's fine. They don't do that, okay? So if it's fine, we don't know. If it's not fine, we don't know either yet, right? But like I'm saying, that's, to me, is another one of the smoking. There's a lot of smoke, but I don't think there's fire, okay? Now, the auditor quitting, on Bitfinex. That is unfortunate. It would be nice if they got an audit. I hope I don't say anything that, again, Phil Potter, I'm not quoting him. I don't remember the exact conversation. I also, no matter what anyone quotes, I think even humans, when you're trying to be honest, you're not exactly able to communicate. So I read between the lines. But regarding the auditor, it was like, can we just get an audit of Tether to shut everybody up? And the auditor says, okay. And then the auditor says, you know what? We actually really have to... No. It was originally, can we get an audit of Bitfinex? Boy, this is a lot of work. You know what? How about we just get an audit of Tether, since that's all everybody cares about? Okay. And then they come back and say, you know what? We can't really just audit Tether. In order to really know what's going on, we have to audit all of Bitfinex. And, now months and months have gone by. And then it's like, and, if I was talking to Phil and it's just like because I'm like, what is so hard about this, right? You kind of think about it. It's just like, I don't know, show all the stuff, right? And then when you dig in, you see why it's complex. I mean, they got all these coins moving in and out. I mean, I'm sure it's a very complex operation. But the other thing is if you start getting into, well, what is the value? So IOTA, IOTA is one that I happen to think, goes to zero eventually. I'm sorry. And I don't know an auditor, and I'm surmising here, that an auditor looks at IOTA, value $1 billion in customer assets at Bitfinex. Is it really worth $1 billion? Because what is IOTA? It just, and now, so then you see, so now you've got this auditor who's trying to figure this shit out, and I'm sure they're not all, decade-long blockchain protocol geniuses. And no offense to them, they're accountants, right? I mean, that's not their job to understand how all the protocols work and how to value every crypto asset. And now the CFTC is looking into it, and there's a lot of heat, and it's like, can we get this done? And they just were like, forget it. Kind of makes sense. I don't like, it's really, that is unfortunate, and, and it would be nice if there was a statement, like, exactly from either side, like, what is going, but, it's, I guess, like I said, here's the thing. I don't think there's a scam going on. I think the only risk would be that, like, but see, the other thing is Bitfinex, I don't believe they have any debt. So even if all the asset values fall by 50%, I mean, so what? The only real risk is that they have all this Tether and they don't actually have the dollars to back it. But even that, I don't know if that puts the business at risk, other than it would be illegal. I mean, another risk too is that the government comes out of nowhere and says, we don't want you having something that you're saying is $1 and it's not really $1, or something like that, and wants to shut it down. But that's not the CFTC. And I think the CFTC wants to make sure Bitcoin prices aren't manipulated for their futures. So all of this just looks like things, this is the pain in the asses of running a business, running a controversial business like Bitfinex that is probably making a shitload of money, and people are jealous, and there's a lot of confusion as to what's going on out there, and a lot of fear. Prices are up a lot, and there's a lot of FOMOs, and then there's people with money that are scared that, they're going to get screwed for some reason. So there's a lot going on, and bottom line is, I think it's a little more boring than the scam story, and Tether's a scam. Okay, so I'm not panicking. I think that's it. I was a little worried, that it's like the government could be like, we don't like this crypto thing. We need to shut stuff down and just go in and cause havoc. But even Phil Potter, who's like, I would expect him to be more negative or something. He's just like, no, that's not how the government operates. They're trying to protect people, and sometimes, they can be heavy-handed, but they're not just like, oh, we don't like this, we're going to shut it down. I mean, there has to be some sort of real fraud or real crime being committed. And I don't think that, this Phil Potter would just pick up his cell phone every time I call if he's trying to hide from something. So, and as I said, I think, in the market going down right now, I don't think it's because there's some sort of Ponzi collapsing, and Tether's still being traded. So, that's the story. Sorry I don't have a scam to report to you. Kind of boring, but I wanted to share. Because, just when I first read that story it was a Friday, I think, and I read, auditor dissolves relationship, and I didn't see Phil Potter's name there. He was the guy in charge. I'm like, holy shit, now he's in he escaped to Brazil. He's in hiding. The whole thing's going down. If this Tether was a scam, holy shit, the market would plummet. I was freaking out. And then I sent an email. I didn't get a reply. Granted, I sent the email on Saturday and he didn't email me back on Sunday. But Monday morning, picks up the phone. Hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, I'm wondering. He's like, oh, yeah, this and that. So, business as usual. Just another crazy day in crypto land.